Welcome to Slow Night Ancient Tales. As the world outside grows quiet, it is time for your mind to find its rest. Tonight, we will travel far back in time to the ancient kingdom of Silla. Close your eyes, take a deep, slow breath, and let go of the day's worries. Listen to the forgotten legends of great kings who became dragons of the sea, a magical flute that calms the fiercest waves, and a beauty so profound it captivated the spirits of the deep. Let these ancient myths from the Samguk Yusa gently guide you into a deep, peaceful slumber. Samguk Yusa, Volume 2, Book of Marvels. In the year Shinyu of the Yongsak era, when the 30th monarch, King Munmu, first ascended the throne, the lifeless body of a woman floated up in the middle of the southern sea of Sabi. The body was 73 chuk long, the feet were 6 chuk long, and the private parts were 3 chuk long. Some say the length was 18 chuk, and that this happened in the year Jongmyo, the second year of the Bangjian era. In the year Mujin of the Chongjiang era, the king led his army, along with Kim In-moon and Kim Hom-sun, and arrived in Pyongyang to join forces with the Tang army, bringing about the fall of Goguryeo. At this time, the Tang general Yi Jeok captured King Bojang of Goguryeo and returned to Tang. Meanwhile, the Tang guerrilla forces and the armies of various generals stayed behind in their camps, plotting to launch a surprise attack on Silla. Realizing this, the king mobilized his troops. The following year, Emperor Gaozong summoned Kim In-moon and others, scolding them, saying, "You requested our troops to destroy Goguryeo, but now you scheme to harm us. What is the meaning of this?" He then imprisoned them and trained an army of 500,000 men, appointing Sol Bang as the general to attack Silla. At this time, Great Master Wisung, who had traveled west to study in Tang, visited Kim In-moon. When Kim In-moon shared this news, Wisung immediately returned east to inform the king. Greatly fearful, the king gathered his ministers and asked for a plan of defense. Gakhan Kim Chunjan spoke. Recently, the Buddhist master Myeongnang entered the Dragon Palace and received a secret teaching. You should summon him and ask for his counsel. Myeongnang advised the king, there is a sacred forest, Sinyurim, south of Namsan Mountain. If you build the Sachon Wangsa temple there and open a sanctuary, it will be resolved. Just then, a messenger from Jeongju came running to report that a countless number of Tang soldiers had reached our borders and were circling on the sea. The king summoned Myeongnang and asked what to do now that the crisis was imminent. Myeongnang told him to build a temporary temple using silk. The king built the temple with silk, wove images of the gods of the 5 directions with grass, and along with 12 yoga monks placed Myeongnang at the head to perform the secret ritual of Mundaru. Then, even before the armies of Tang and Silla could engage in battle, fierce winds and violent waves arose, sinking all the Tang ships into the water. Later, the temple was rebuilt and named Sachon Wangsa, and to this day, the sanctuary remains unbroken. Manpasikjeok. The name of the 31st monarch, King Sinmun, was Jongmyong, and his surname was Kim. He ascended the throne on the 7th day of the 7th month in the year Sinsa, the first year of the Gayo era. For his revered father, King Munmu, he built Gamunsa Temple on the shore of the East Sea. The temple records relate the following. King Munmu began building this temple to suppress the Japanese invaders, but he passed away before completing it and became a dragon of the sea. His son, King Sinmun, ascended the throne and completed it in the 2nd year of the Gayo era. Beneath the steps of the main hall, a hole was opened facing east. This was prepared so that the dragon could enter the temple and linger. Following his final wishes, the place where his bones were buried was called Daewangam, the Rock of the Great King. The temple was named Gamiunsa, and the place where the dragon later revealed itself was called Igyeondae. On the first day of the 5th month of the following year, the year Imo, the maritime official Pajinchen Bak Suk Chong reported, "A small mountain has floated up in the middle of the East Sea, moving back and forth along the waves toward Gamunsa Temple." Finding this wondrous, the king ordered the royal astrologer Kim Chunjil to divine its. He answered, "Your revered father has now become a dragon of the sea to protect and guard the 3 Han." Furthermore, Lord Kim Yusin, as one of the sons of the 33 heavens, has now descended to become a minister. The two sages have united their wills and wish to grant you a treasure to protect the fortress. If your majesty journeys to the seashore, you will surely obtain a great treasure of incalculable worth. Delighted, the king journeyed to Igyondai on the 7th day of that month. He gazed at the mountain and sent an envoy to inspect it. The shape of the mountain was like the head of a turtle, and upon it stood a single bamboo tree, which split into two during the day and merged into one at night. When the envoy returned and reported this, the king went to Gamyunsa temple to stay the night. The next day at noon, the bamboo merged into one. Heaven and earth trembled, and for 7 days, wind and rain raged, plunging the world into darkness. It was not until the 16th day of the month that the wind ceased and the waves grew calm. The king launched a boat and went on to the mountain, where a dragon greeted him, offering a pair of black jade belts. The king sat with the dragon and asked, "What is the reason this mountain and bamboo divide and merge together?" The dragon replied, "To use an analogy, clapping with one hand produces no sound, but striking two hands together creates a sound. This bamboo is an object that only produces a sound after it is joined together. It is an auspicious sign that the Holy King will rule the world with sound. If the king takes this bamboo, makes a flute, and plays it, the whole world will become peaceful. Now your late father has become a great dragon in the sea, and Lord Yusin has become a heavenly god once more." The two sages joined their hearts to bring forth this priceless great treasure, commanding me to present it to you. Surprised and overjoyed, the king rewarded the dragon with 5 colored silks, gold, and jade. When a royal envoy cut down the bamboo and emerged from the sea, the mountain and the dragon suddenly vanished and did not reappear. The king stayed at Gaminsa Temple, and on the 17th day, arriving at the stream west of Girimsa Temple, he halted his carriage to eat his midday meal. Crown Prince Igong, who had been guarding the palace, heard this news and came riding swiftly on a horse to offer his congratulations. He slowly examined the jade belt and spoke, "The patterns carved into this jade belt are all real dragons." The king asked, "How do you know this?" The crown prince replied, "Please detach one pattern and sink it into the water." So, they detached the second pattern on the left and sank it into the stream. Instantly, it turned into a dragon and ascended to heaven, and that ground became a pond, which was later called Yongyeon, the dragon pond. The king returned to the palace, made a flute from the bamboo, and preserved it in the Cheonjongo storehouse at Wolsong Palace. When this flute was played, enemy troops retreated, illnesses were cured, rain fell during droughts, skies cleared during floods, the wind ceased, and the waves grew calm. It was named Manpasikjeok, the flute that calms 10,000 waves, and was designated as a national treasure. Lady Suro. During the reign of King Songdeok, Lord Sunjong was on his way to take up his post as the governor of Gangneung, which is present-day Myeongju. They stopped for a while by the sea to eat their midday meal. Nearby, standing like a folding screen facing the sea, were stone peaks reaching 1,000 fathoms high, and upon them royal azalea blossoms were in full bloom. Lord Sunjong's wife, Lady Suro, saw them and spoke to the people around her, "Who among you will pluck those flowers and offer them to me?" Her attendants replied, "It is a place where human footsteps cannot reach." And so they all declined, saying it could not be done. Just then an old man leading a was passing by. Hearing the lady's words, he climbed up, plucked the flowers, and even composed a song to offer to her. Yet no one knew who this old man was. They traveled peacefully for 2 more days and arrived at another place called Imhaejong. While they were eating their midday meal, a dragon of the sea suddenly appeared, kidnapped the lady, and dragged her into the sea. The lord collapsed, striking the ground and wailing, but there was nothing he could do. Then another old man appeared and spoke. "The words of the ancients say that the mouths of the multitudes can melt even iron. How could a lowly beast in the sea not fear the mouths of the multitudes? You must gather the people of this land, compose a song, sing it together, and strike the shores with sticks. Then you will be able to see your lady again." The Lord followed his words, and the dragon, reverently holding the lady, emerged from the sea and returned her. When the Lord asked the lady about what had happened in the sea, she replied, "In a palace adorned with 7 precious treasures, the food I ate was sweet, tender, fragrant and pure, it was not the food of the human world. At this time, the lady's clothes were imbued with a strange, exquisite fragrance never before encountered in this world. Lady Suro's grace and beauty were unparalleled in the world, so whenever she passed through deep mountains or by large lakes, she was frequently abducted by divine and spiritual beings. The song of the sea, sung by the multitudes, goes like this: "Turtle, turtle, bring forth Suro. How great is the sin of stealing another man's wife. If you dare resist and do not yield her, we shall cast a net, capture you, and roast you to eat." And the song of dedicating flowers, sung by the old man when he offered the blossoms, goes like this: "Beside the purple rocks, you let me leave the cow I was holding, and if you do not feel ashamed of me, I will pluck these flowers and offer them to you." The tales of old have come to an end, and the ancient dragons have returned to their peaceful slumber beneath the waves. Now it is your turn to rest. May the gentle waves of these ancient stories carry you into a calm and dreamless sleep. If you found comfort in tonight's journey, please subscribe to Slow Night Ancient Tales and leave a quiet like. Good night and sleep well.